How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. We are back.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
Now, before I go and get started on the football talk, and in particular Chelsea against Arsenal, there are a couple of issues that I need to address. Now, I'm sure every single one of you will know what those issues are, and I'm sure every single one of you will know what's been going on in my personal life for the last 15, 16 months. Now, in terms of the incidents and what happened on that night as to why I received my prison sentence, I will not be going and having a conversation about that on camera. I will not be addressing it. I will not be speaking about it. There, of course, is a victim involved in all of this. It is my ex-partner, the mother to my children, and I simply will not be dragging all of this up again. I will not be, talking about it. I won't engage in any conversation about it on camera. And I would like everybody to respect my wishes in that respect and understand that, like I said, there is a victim involved and I will not be talking about it. I've also got my children to think about as well. And I simply will not be airing this on camera. You all know the situation. You've all seen the media reports. And I do not need to discuss it or go into it anymore. If you see me out in person or you want to have a conversation with me privately, then you're more than welcome to. But on camera, I will not be addressing this situation. And I hope you can all respect that and the reasons behind it. Now, the next matter is AFTV. Now, I feel that I have to address this, matter because a lot of questions will be asked in terms of, will I be going back on AFTV? What is the situation? What happened, when it all broke in the media about my prison sentence and everything else? And I'm going to address this once. And once I've addressed it, I want to move on with my life and never speak about it again. But I will not be going back on AFTV. And that's not just a decision that's been made by AFTV. That's a decision that was made by me. Of course, we've all seen the statement that was released by AFTV when it came out in the media in January about my increased prison sentence. And what I can say in regards to that is that it was completely false. It's complete lies. AFTV, or I say AFTV, but Robbie in particular, knew everything about my court case. He knew the extent of it. He knew all the details about it. And to sit there and release a statement saying that they never knew nothing, they never knew the extent, is just a complete lie. To give you a timeline of the situation, because there's been some very false information in terms of how long I've been in prison, the situation, etc., etc. The offence happened on July the 24th, 2021. I was remanded into prison on July the 27th, 2021. I was sentenced on November the 5th, and I was given a 12-month sentence. That meant with time served, my release date was going to be the 25th of January, 2022. On the 22nd of December, 2021, I was released on HDC, which is home detention curfew. Most people will know it as TAG, due to good behaviour. When I was released, I was out for around about 3 weeks, 21 days, I think it was, to be precise. I found out about the Court of Appeal and that the prosecution were not happy with my original 12-month sentence, and they wanted it looked at under the unduly lenient scheme. This was something that went to court on January the 13th, and the Court of Appeal increased my sentence from 12 months to 3 years. On January the 14th, I returned back to prison, and I was released from prison in the middle of September. I've been out for around about 7 weeks now. Now, in terms of what AFTV knew and what Robbie knew, from the very beginning, he knew everything that was going on. Robbie's phone number was on my PIN so that I could make contact and calls during my time in prison. I spoke to Robbie regularly on the phone. There was a lot of talk and a lot of discussion as to what I'm going to do when I'm released. I spoke to him on the day that I was sentenced, which was November the 5th. And we were planning for my release in January. At the time, we didn't know that I was going to get out in December. But when I did, a meeting was arranged. Now, I said initially when I came out on December the 22nd that I wanted to just spend time with the family and the children and everything else. And then Robbie contacted me on New Year's Day because he knew that I was going to the Arsenal-Man City game. He asked me if I wanted to come on and give my thoughts on the game because he knew I was, watching the game. I was a bit hesitant at first, but I said, you know what? Okay, cool. Let's do it. I'll go on there. He knew full well. We'd had a meeting planned for a week or so down the line and whatnot. And like I said, he was fully aware from the very beginning as to everything that had gone on and the extent of, the case that was against me. He done a character reference for me for my sentencing on November the 5th. He sent that on October the 5th. And for people that are not aware about character references, it's not just somebody writing a letter for the court to say, oh, this is a good guy, he's this, that, the other. It's something that you have to make very clear within the statement that you know about the offence that's been committed. Robbie, in his statement, made very, very clear that he knows about the offence that I've been convicted of and what I'm facing, but it doesn't change his views as to his thoughts about me as a person and what I've contributed to AFTV over all the years that he's known me, and that I was his friend and that I'd got to know him from a business sense to being a friend. So that was, basically what the character reference was for the court case. And this is a character reference that was read out in court. This is a character reference that the judge had in his hands and reference to, along with other character references that I had for my court case. We had a meeting 6 days before the Court of Appeal changed my sentence and I returned to prison. And the reason for this meeting was to talk about how we were going to address the last 5 months or so where I wasn't on AFTV or doing my own videos. And I'll get onto the details of that in a second. But the reasoning for this is that Robbie didn't believe that I could just go back into filming videos. There were going to be too many questions. Too many people were going to say, well, where's he been for the last 5 months? Where's he, really been? What's really happened? There was all the talk about the mental health side of things. And, this is something that Robbie had agreed with and said, at the moment, it's not right to bring it out because you can't defend yourself whilst you're in prison. You're going through mental health problems before the incident took place. And that's very, very clear. You can tell by the timeline, way before the incident had happened and I'd gone to prison, I was struggling in my personal life. I was really, really struggling to the point where I really had contemplated taking my own life. Everybody on AFTV and the wider community had reached out to me long before, the offence had happened and had offered their help and their support. And everything about the mental health side of things was genuine. It's something that I'd had a problem with going right back to December 2020 when I sent a message to Robbie stating that I'm really struggling with my mental health and that doing the watch-alongs with him, the live streams and everything was really starting to get to me. All the abuse about my family, my dead brother, my children, my partner and everything else was really, really starting to have an effect on me. And I reached out to Robbie in a message and I basically poured my heart out to him and said, I can't do it no more. It's really, really affecting me. And at that moment, I would have actually given up all the money I'd been earning to have my life back. That's the severity of it. That's how I was feeling at that time. And the response back I got from Robbie was a thumbs up and okay. That was it. When I'd reached out to him and I thought he would be there for me, all I got was an okay. That's it. Just an okay. So the mental health side of things, 100% genuine, was there way before the offence had even taken place. And you can see that from my timeline on Twitter and whatnot and the struggles that I was going through. I'd recently just lost my uncle before that as well. And, you know, it's in no way excusing my actions or anything like that. Let's make this very clear. I'm not excusing my actions. My actions were inexcusable, and I'm wholeheartedly sorry for everything that I've done and for the, you know, the problems that I've caused and what I did and everything else. And that goes without saying. And I'm not for 1 minute trying to blame AFTV, Robbie, or anybody for, you know, what happened on that evening. Only I'm responsible for what happened that evening, my actions. But what I won't allow is for Robbie and AFTV to come out and distance themselves from me and just try and brush it under the carpet that they're, you know, completely oblivious to what has gone on. And there you go, throw DT under the bus. You knew full well what had gone on. You knew full well the extent of everything. And like I said, we had this meeting 6 days before, you know, everything had come out in the media, and I'd went back to court and I'd had my sentence increased to 3 years. And what we decided is that we were going to do a video. It was going to be filmed at AFTV studios, and it was going to be released on my channel. And what we were going to do, we were going to talk about the previous 5-6 months, where I'd been, what had happened, and that I was in prison, and this is the reason why. And Robbie's reasoning for this is that he wanted me to release the story before it got in the press, so that if it ever did get out there in the press and people were going to talk about it, we could turn around and say, well, we already know. Everything's already out there. Everybody knows everything. There's no skeletons in the closet. We can all just move on. And that was the reasoning behind it. But the moment it broke in the press, and obviously I was unable to get my side of things across first, it just blew up. Social media just went absolutely nuts. It was everywhere across the mainstream media. And instantly, Robbie went and released a statement and completely distanced himself from it. And some people will say it's his business and everything else, etc., etc. You don't throw people under the bus like that. Not people that, you know, I thought was my friend. I know Robbie personally now. You know, I've been to his home, met his wife, his children and everything. And Robbie's out there doing videos, even after the statement, talking about, you know, how he's got daughters and he's disgusted and everything else. And I'm like, I've got a daughter too. You know this, you've met my family. And you're sitting there and openly saying on camera, you're disgusted. When for the previous 5-6 months, you knew everything that had gone on. And you've just lied to everybody. I'm not angry about it, far from it. I look at it now and I just sit there and think, you was never a friend. You was never somebody that I could, you know, trust or rely on. I was just somebody that made you money. And that's the sad reality of it, you know, and I was warned about this a long time ago. And there is a pattern of this. You can look at the way that Robbie got rid of Heavy D. He was surplus to requirements. The way he got rid of Mo, surplus to requirements. The way he got rid of Claude, surplus to requirements. And you can have an argument about all of these people and, you know, what went on in their specific circumstances, rights, wrongs, etc., etc. But these are people that looked at Robbie as a friend, that had built relationships with him. And the moment something happened, he went, see ya, bye-bye, off you go. Because he didn't want to lose money. He wanted to protect his brand. Instead of saying, you know what they've done is wrong. I can't condone it. But what we would like to do is help this person. We would like to try and get them to turn their life around, to help them rehabilitate, etc., etc. But he didn't. And that is the be all and end all of it. So, you know, like I said, I've got no grievance against him. I don't, you know, hate him for what he's done. I wish AFTV well. I wish Robbie well with the future. But now I've got the opportunity to get on with my life. I've got the opportunity to get on with my videos, because something that a lot of people won't realize as well is that we weren't contracted on AFTV. There were no contracts in terms of what we could and could not do. After the Claude incident, They drew up an agreement for people that go on AFTV to say about the do's and don'ts, your code of conduct. But there was no specific contracts on AFTV. But yet I was never allowed to do anything on my own channel. I was never allowed to do any watch-alongs. I was never allowed to do anything that Robbie deemed a threat to AFTV. He saw the size of my platform and thought, if DT does watch-alongs, it could be detrimental to us. So he put blocks on it. And when I say blocks, for want of better words, it was threats. It was, if you don't do this and you don't do that, you will never be on AFTV again. That's the long and short of it. We was told what you can and you cannot do. And I went along with it. And I just agreed. More fool me. But like I said, now there's nothing stopping me. I can get on with my content for my channel and I can grow my channel. Because for the last 5-6 years, I've grown AFTVs. And this is not in a big-headed way, but I was the main contributor on there. Of course, there's so many other people, Troops, Claude, so many people, everybody's contributed, but I was right up there as one of the main contributors. I've helped Robbie turn his business into a multi-million-pound company. And that's the reality. So what I want to do now is concentrate on my company, my business, my content, and grow my platform. And I understand as well, it's not going to be easy. I understand as well that there's people out there that will never forgive me. I understand that fully. But I hope over time people can realize that I am remorseful and that I do want to move on with my life. I've got a lot of good people behind me, real friends, my family, my missus, my children, all these people that have stuck by me through everything in the last 15 months or so. So the future is promising. The future is bright for me. And, it's a long road. I'm not perfect. And it's going to take me a long time to rebuild everything. And I've got, like I said, good people behind me. And that is the most important thing in life. Good people behind you. I've got a brilliant probation officer who's done nothing but help in moving me forward with my life and the rehabilitation side of things and everything. And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I just want to get on with my life, like I said. And eventually, hopefully, people will be able to see that and they will be able to let me live my life and let me move on. Like I said, there'll be people that will never forgive me. And that's, something that always happens. And, there'll be people that always want to comment. And it makes me refer to a sketch by Ricky Gervais when he was talking about, being in the local town square and piano lessons. And I'm sure you've all seen things of late because there was something with James Corden using his same joke and it blew up over social media. But it's the same kind of thing. If you don't like my content and you don't want to watch it, it's not for you. You don't need to comment. You don't need to speak about it. You don't need to be abusive. Move on. It's there for the people that want to watch what I'm doing. It's there for the people that enjoy what I do and like what I do. And that is as simple as that. So I can't say no more. So that is that situation addressed, done, finished. I once again wish AFTV well with the future. I wish Robbie well. I have no ill feeling towards him. And I just want to move on with my life. So with that said, let's go and get into some football talk. Now, of course, yesterday was Chelsea against Arsenal. And I'm going to specifically speak about this game. What can I say? What on earth are Arsenal doing right now? Top of the league, absolutely flying. Lost one game all season, drawn one game, won all the rest. The best defensive records in the league. It's just absolutely superb. And I don't think, you could ask anyone at the start of the season if we were going towards the World Cup break. We've only got one game left against Wolves at the weekend in terms of the Premier League. And I think if you said to any Arsenal supporter, you'd be going into that World Cup break either first or second, guaranteed first or second, depending on this weekend's results, with Manchester City. And this would be how the season's panned out. Everybody would have sat there and looked at you and went, what on earth are you smoking? There's no chance Arsenal are going to do that. And it's just phenomenal the way that we've, been playing this season. Mikel Arteta, my word, what a manager. I can think right back to the real dark days when everybody was on his case and only a few of us were backing him. I used to get absolute dog's abuse over backing Mikel Arteta. I used to get dog's abuse over backing Granit Xhaka. And now look, one of the best managers in the Premier League. Granit Xhaka this season has been one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. I remember conversations about William Saliba, and I said that Mikel Arteta was right to send him out on loan for a couple of years. I got dog's abuse over that. Now look at the player we have now. 21 years old, a Rolls Royce of defenders. And right now, one of the best in the Premier League. Fact. I remember when Martinelli come back from injury. And it was a serious injury that he picked up. It was a very innocuous one, but it ended up being very serious. And he was out for a considerable period of time. And he was struggling to get back within the team. And I remember having constant conversations about this. And being told, Arteta doesn't like him. He doesn't like young players. And again, I used to get abuse over it because I was trying to defend his actions. And now look, you see exactly what we're doing, what those players are doing. The performance against Chelsea. In the final third, it wasn't that great. I felt there was a lot of, misplaced passes and whatnot. Let's be real about it. But in terms of its domination, in terms of its control, there was only one team in that. Chelsea were absolutely dreadful. I never felt threatened at all. Aubameyang, I love the guy, and I'm not going to sit and criticise him because he done a lot of good things for this club. It's because of him we won the FA Cup, the goals he scored and everything. Let's not have short memories in that respect. But he's now a Chelsea player. And when you look at him and his performance yesterday for Chelsea, you sit there and you think to yourself, I can see why Mikel Arteta got rid of him now. When you look at our number 9 in Gabriel Jesus, you sit there and you think to yourself, wow, I get it. I know why Mikel Arteta did it. I know why he got rid of him. And fair play to the board, fair play to the Cronkies for actually sticking with Mikel, backing him, and actually saying, no, let's ride this through. Because there were times, real close times, where they could have easily pulled the trigger and got rid of Mikel Arteta. Because it was that bad at one point. But they said, no, let him rebuild. Let him do what he's doing. This team now is Mikel Arteta's. No way about it. It's his team. And look where they are. Top of the Premier League. Superb performance against Chelsea. Like I said, complete domination and control of the game. If you're going to be critical about one thing, it's the way that we were in the final third, because there were some moments where it was brilliant right to the final third. And then it broke down. There was a misplaced pass. There was a chance missed. The Gabriel Jesus chance before half-time, the header, should be scoring it. If he scores that, then that goal is one of the goals of the season. Absolutely no question about it. The way we built up from the back, tippy-tappy, one, boom, 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 boom. Come on now. Thomas Partey, unbelievable in centre midfield. He's an absolute monster in there. Just controls absolutely everything. Ben White as a right back. My word. I keep seeing all this discussion and talk about problems with England at right back. You've got a guy right there. Right there. I think Trippier is having a wonderful season at Newcastle. But you've also got Ben White there. There's two very, very, very good options right there. You know, they're playing for two of the top teams in the Premier League right now. Arsenal sitting top, Newcastle sitting third. Stop talking about Trent and Reece James and Kyle Walker. People that have got injuries and may not even be there. You've got two players right there that can play that position. Job done. You look at Zinchenko. What he brings to the team is very much Man City-like with that inverted, role that he plays, and he drops into the midfield and everything. You look at the way that Tomiyasu's been able to come in and the way that he dealt with Mo Salah a few weeks back. You look at Gabriel, so glad that he signed a new contract. Yes, he does have the odd mistake in him. He's still young. I think we forget that. But he's been brilliant with Saliba. Granit Xhaka, already mentioned. Bukayo Saka has been absolutely superb. Martinelli's been an absolute monster. Gabriel Jesus has completely transformed this football club. The mentality of this football club. Martin Odegaard, the captain, excellent. One criticism, needs a bit of end product in terms of goals. I think he would say that himself. There was an incident in the game against Chelsea where he breaks. He has to score that. Because if Chelsea were to get, back into the game, for example, and we drop 2 points, you would look at moments like that for Martin Odegaard and you would say that's where the game should have been finished. Because teams like Manchester City punish you in them moments. So it was huge, absolutely huge win. And I'm over the moon with the way that we're playing right now. I'm so happy. I'm looking at other teams in the Premier League. And, even Man City, they're scraping through, a couple of games here and there. The Fulham one, you've got to give them their respect of how long they were playing with for 10 men. And they kept going and kept going and kept going. And they got the win. But they've dropped points here and there. And they've not been convincing in some games. But everybody else, Newcastle really impressed me, I might say. They've really impressed me. Almiron is a completely different player. What on earth is he eating for breakfast right now? Just let us know. He's absolutely superb. And, Jack Grealish's words are coming back to haunt him, that's for sure. But apart from that, I'm not really impressed. Manchester United, I'm not impressed by them at all. Liverpool, they've had a very, very poor season. When you look at it, and I'm not impressed by them. Tottenham, not impressed by them at all. I think their football is horrendous. Their fans don't like what's going on, despite where they are in the league. I think that they need to kind of, maybe look at who they are as a club. This is the best start you've ever had in Premier League history. Take it as a win, boys. Go and get yourself a trophy out of it if you want. So, listen, all in all, it's good. It's a long, long way to go, though. Let's remember that there is a long way to go. We have to deal with, the Carabao Cup game in midweek and then the Wolves game. If we can win that game and go into the World Cup break, top of the league, I think psychologically that could be massive. We will, by technicality, be top of the league at Christmas because nobody's playing until Boxing Day or the day after, given the fixtures. I believe we've got West Ham at home when we come back. So, listen, psychologically, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's the end of the world if we didn't get, that top spot for going away. I just think that going into such a big break, the last thing we want is a defeat. That's something we don't want. We don't want to sit there and be stewing about it for weeks on end. So I think that, given it, get the win against the Wolves side that are not that great, to be honest. And then, we can go into the World Cup and we can look forward and we can have that nice, break and everything. So, listen, in terms of content, what will you get from me now? Of course, there's going to be watch-alongs to Arsenal games. Not every single one of them. I'm going to get as many as I can done. We're going to be doing previews of matches, the post-match comments on games and everything else, player ratings. We're going to be doing a new podcast as well, and I've got some really good guests lined up already for that. I'm just sorting out everything with the studio and to make sure that I've got everything moving forward. And then, onwards and upwards. As I said, it's, time about moving forwards, getting on with my life, For all of those that love the content, want to see the content, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for your support and everything else. And for all of those that, you know, are not interested and don't want to watch and everything, well, this is not for you. Get on with your life, enjoy your life. Don't waste a second of it, is what I say. So there we go. That is it. The first video back. And like I said, I will not be talking about any of the first two incidents at all here on in. I've addressed those situations. I hope you respect what I've had to say, and we move on. So listen, if you're new around here and if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I am out of here.